So welcome to another episode of this new interview series, which we're calling it How Did We Do It? I still don't have a name for this yet, so if you have any recommendations, please put it in the comments. Today, we have Basia here. She's one of the best growth marketers I know. We also met at the New York conference for AI, and it was so much fun talking to her, learning about all her GPTs she was building to pretty much like automate a lot of the work that she would have to hire a marketing team for. So I'm not gonna spend a lot of time blabbing here. We're just gonna get into it. Maybe Basia can tell us more about herself or experience. And we're gonna do some screen sharing and see what sort of custom GPT she has built, the ones she's willing to share with us, with a link in the description down below. All right, over to you, Basia. So just wanna do a little intro for yourself. Tell us who you are, and then we'll get started.
Yeah, first of all, thank you so much for having me. And I'm so glad that we met at the AI conference. It was truly a blast. So shout out for Matt for hosting that. And yeah, a little bit about me, bread and butter and paid media expertise, and as a growth marketer, and very much fueled by curiosity and how can we connect AI and marketing, culture, and connection across all the different touch points in the customer journey, professionally, but then also personally.
All right, so let's see some of your GPTs so we can go from prompt to profit here.
Yeah, so a couple of the ones that I shared with you that I think will be fun, and it's all about personal connection, right? Like, how did I get into custom GPTs? And it started in my personal life of how, can I automate some things, or what are the things that seem really complex, but I do them a lot. So the first custom GPT that I have built is about writing. This is my raw prompting.
I always find it funny to see someone else's chat GPT screen, look at the names of their chats on the left tab and their little GPTs they have been using lately. Anyway, sorry, gonna block it off. Let's continue.
No, you're good. Wait, but I wanted to go back to what you said.
I was just saying how, your own GPT is gonna be a secret one day. You're gonna feel people are gonna feel protective of it. They don't want to share it because it's a secret sauce. Until we get there, or I just invite someone to be, raw here. We're just gonna spill it out there. So
yeah, for sure. I do think that there will be a point where if you want access to a custom GPT because X, Y, and Z, there will be subscriptions, I feel right? Now everything is so raw that everyone is just exchanging knowledge and sharing. And if we're being honest, I hope it will continue because that's what we did during the conference. And I feel it created a really cool community of all of us. So it stays like that. But okay, so here is the marketers entering the chat. The story behind Basia's LinkedIn writing is, as someone whose English is not my native language, I was always kind of on the back of, I didn't really feel comfortable writing. For the longest time in high school and college, I was on the quiet side and I wouldn't even speak in class. And so now I essentially have my own editor in my back pocket that I can write an article with in a couple of hours and really edit the grammar, get it to the place where I want it without having the limitations of language, right? And then playing with prompting. So it's my own little editor, which is sick.
So I've got a question for you here before we go forward. I'm curious, why did you build a writing GPT versus you could go to Claude and chat GPT and put your article and be hey, make this better, or correct the grammar? There must be a decision, conscious decision here.
Yeah, there are a lot. Do you like to repeat yourself?
Do I like to repeat myself? If the other person isn't listening, then yes.
but let's say if there's a task and you have to say the same instructions over and over and over and over again, or when there's I hope this email finds you well.
I see. Okay, yes. For a lot of my brand deals, I have to before I got the talent manager involved, I had to pretty much do a lot of the same stuff over and over again.
Yeah, so that's kind of where it sparked. I just kept saying okay, fix grammar or whatever, and it's all over the same instructions every time. Or when I started saying and let's remember that this started when ChatGPT wasn't updating the memory, right?
Okay.
So there are a couple different things going on at that time too, which is slightly different today. But that's kind of what sparked it of I don't want to repeat myself. I wanted to know exactly what Basia's style is, which is, authentic and warm, reflective, human storytelling with nerding out on growth marketing and AI and everything else. So
Okay, cool.
yeah, that's kind of where it came from.
Okay, that makes sense. So you started with your LinkedIn writing as your first GPT. What happened next? How did you ended up other GPTs in your whole army of GPTs for all your marketing work?
Yeah. Then I started thinking about like, okay, what pieces of my job as a growth marketer I feel like could be done better. But also, let's be honest, like things like reporting, data analysis, like bits and pieces are exciting and fun. But the amount of time we're spending on reporting, it's like the bane of my existence, right? Like, especially the more clients you have, the more reporting you have, etc. And so, again, it's like training the brain muscle to be like, what pieces of the things that I do consistently can be automated? And so that's kind of where the growth marketer comes in. And this is specifically for, reports, right? Across different paid channels, which is exactly what I do, running ads on Meta, Google, programmatic, Pinterest, TikTok, what have you. And then it just has like a formatting that I plug in the data and then it just spits out highlights, competitors. Here, let's go into the GPT so then we can kind of review what is inside. And like I also know everyone is prompting differently, right? So actually the process that I have forerun to writing the prompts is also with custom chat GPT. So it's a lot of iteration to arrive to at the point that I want, but this is where it currently is. This is not how it started. And I also saw that you have like different tips and tricks with using like hashtags or whatever else. So I'm curious what you would think about this and how you would improve it.
Okay.
So feel free. But this is kind of the lay of the land, and you can see it's pretty long, but it works.
Purpose, role and persona, core tasks and capabilities, strategic reporting framework, and then that's a lot of massive prompt. Advanced playbooks, enterprise grade.
Yeah.
So is this supposed to like only kick in when you have some advanced stuff you're asking for? Not always. We're like even like segmenting your prompt. Like, hey, normal stuff, just do this, and like advanced stuff, now look into this stuff. I've never seen that happen before. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So and it keeps on going. Innovation flywheel, and then at the end we have communication style, assistant behavior prompts, kind of things, and like some of those things I didn't even think to add, right? Like and something that I really liked from our AI conference is, you have a prompt and then you go into Chat GPT and you ask it, how would you make this better? And then it kind of, fixes itself, right? So I did that a couple of different times, and this is where we're at currently. Who knows where it's going to be at next week, but
or I'm just gonna do a shameless plug here. Prompt Ginny, just click on Chrome extension and boom, it makes it better.
Wait, hold on. Should we do it right now? Here, let me copy this and then I'll send it to you, and then you can plug it in. No,
you can download. Well, I'm not gonna have my ChatGPT in this browser, so it's gonna get complicated.
Okay, never mind. Well, I'll send it to you anyway, and you can.
Okay, I can do it in Claude. I can show it in Claude quickly.
Okay.
Sure. Okay, cool. So let's go back to your prompt there. I had a question there when I saw something at the bottom. So you had at the very last stage, the assistant behavior and prompts. You said insert a data hygiene checkpoint after final analysis to flag anomalies. Like, what do you mean by that? Like, how'd you even like come up with that? Like, those words together seem pretty like, expert-ish.
Expert-ish. It's me presenting a problem through ChatGPT and then asking it to put it in fancy words. So, but to take a step back, so like data hygiene checkpoint after funnel analysis to flag anomalies. So there are a lot of things when you're dealing with data that can be a little shady, or for example, you can have things that are not really aligning with what you would anticipate. So when we're looking at a full funnel analysis, so and to make it more tangible, like running an omni-channel advertising campaign for an e-commerce, for example, right? Like top of the funnel marketing 101 fundamentals, right? Like top of the funnel, which is impressions, views, really just entering the brand. Then we have consideration, which is clicks, engagement, yada, yada. And then we have purchase. So for here, it's really important when you're dealing with, for example, data from Meta and Google and programmatic is to, when you put all of those numbers together or separately looking at a specific channel, do we have a lot more clicks than we have sessions, right? Is this helping us uncover roadblocks? Is it helping us uncover some disconnects? Or are we having double the conversions than we have the sessions? And it just kind of flags those anomalies that might be different. Or on Google, for example, invalid clicks are a thing, right? So all of a sudden you can have a spike of additional 3K clicks and it's like, what's going on, you know? So this just helps me, you know, stay aware and alert on like all of the different like weird data things that could happen that just flag, hey, we should be curious about this or look into it and just kind of double check.
Okay, that is pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, I would love to see if it's possible to like, you know, what this GPT does for you. Like, you know, what is your input and like, what is the output that you're getting with like your big growth marketer GPT, like, because these instructions, these custom prompt, and that looks pretty insane here.
Right?
We can like generate synthetic data, you know, AI for AI. Why not? If you know like what kind of data you're looking for, we can just generate synthetic data.
Okay, which one should we go with?
We can just do 4.0. I think it's going to be fast.
Okay. Generate campaign data from okay, here, let's focus. Generate campaign data from an e-commerce omnichannel campaign, Meta, Google, and Pinterest. Full funnel objectives from awareness to conversion.
I'm curious. I feel like it's not going to generate just yet because, okay. Got some stuff here. Is this the kind of data set that you usually have, or is it more raw?
It's more raw.
Okay. So we may just have to like say to like, hey, just generate like the raw data set, just random simulate. Oh, interesting. Personally, I would be like, do a follow-up chat, but you like the editing feature. That's cool. That's what I like seeing how different people use AI, like real life, because like different people use it differently. It's so cool.
Yeah. Raw Excel file.
Data simulation. I mean, I'm just blabbing out here. You do you.
No, this is good. We're yapping. Who knows who knows? Okay. Anything else to add?
No, just try it. You have a Plus account. You're not gonna get run out of credits here.
That's how we know I'm rich.
Yeah, the subtle flex in 2025. I pay for Claude. I pay for ChatGPT.
Okay, here.
Let's see if it's actually exporting data correctly. Sometimes it's running into errors. Like you just would export like a raw, random, like blank file.
Yeah, or sometimes it says that it is, and then the thing is, okay, we do have something. Okay.
Yay. Okay. Let's see the GPT in action.
Okay, I'm so curious if this is going to be a flop because this is so tiny.
All we need is like just a little bit of reference of like the whole report is structured, you know, just so that, I mean, I get a reference, anyone's watching, they get a bit of a reference to what's happening. Okay. So you're just uploading your data. That's it. You don't prompt anything after that with your GPT. That's crazy. So it already knows your input is just going to be data set. Okay.
And I do the same with the translation that we didn't talk about yet. Okay.
You know, it's like when you're working with a new team member and they keep asking you little questions every single time of the way, like Slack messages, like you just figure it out.
Yeah, it's like, yes, that's exactly what I want you to do. Oh my God, we're outperforming benchmarks? How cool.
That data set goes on the portfolio.
Okay, anyways, so industry and benchmarks, that's really cool. Success. Then we go into top of funnel analysis, mid funnel, and we are having very strong creative hooks. So this is a hallucination because it doesn't have access to the actual creative.
Okay.
So this is a speculation, but regardless, the engagement is extremely high. Like this is wild, right?
So this is like where you pretty much get into reports usually, like this kind of format.
Yeah.
How will you benchmark the numbers though? Because like, is it like you mentioned in your prompt somewhere that these are the benchmarks based on your like different clients you may have?
Yeah. So what it does is identifies like the industry and then it just runs it. There is a general benchmark for each of the platforms, and then there is a general benchmark for each of the industry. Okay. And so in the prompt, I also have it to every time it runs an analysis to like get an updated benchmarks.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
And of course, you can always manually edit that too. Like, if something is changing and you're made aware of that happening in your industry. So essentially what you're doing is like you're as a growth marketer, performance marketer, you're running those campaigns, you're pulling in all the data, you're putting in into your growth marketer GPT, and you're able to generate the report, which is what you're sharing with your clients possibly, and also like giving you a sense of what is happening in the campaign and how it's performing.
Yeah, exactly. And I think like after being in the industry for, 4 years, which is crazy to think about agency side, and then about 3 years outside of that, I kind of get a sense of like, okay, what the benchmarks are because of being in the industry for a while. So, but again, it is the nitty gritty and it's changing industry wise based on like different seasons or situations that happen. So, COVID was a huge anomaly, right? And then some of the brands or clients were like, okay, we're following the wave. And then when we take a step back, it was just a weird, for example, for ecom, right? It was just a weird spike. So when we cut it out, like, okay, if we're comparing data to the prior years, like are we growing versus, COVID setting the new standard. So it was a lot of also conversations and education and expectation setting for sure.
Okay. I want you to do one thing. Are you logged into Claude right now?
No.
Okay. Go to Claude or send me this information just as a copy. Or yes.
I wish there would be a way that I can just like.
I think if we share the chat, I wonder that that could work up top.
Ooh, I can copy this.
The reason I like Claude sometimes a lot, this video isn't sponsored by Claude. I hope they do.
It should be.
It should be. But the reason I like it, like, you can turn things into like shareable reports, which is like quite visually striking. And we're kind of riffing off here. I want to like try to do that live right now to see how well it works. Because I'm not sure like what you do with the report here. Like, is it just for your consumption or you want to share this with a client and you like put this into Google Doc? Whatever that case might be.
Yeah, so this is just for like a bigger snapshot. And then there are different like reporting templates or reports. Yeah, so it just really depends. Are you doing your magic on your end?
No, I'm just waiting to copy it for now. All right. I mean, while I set it up, while I share my screen and set it up, I'm kind of curious if you want to like just speak a bit to like how much time were you able to save like, with this GPT? And like, what was your workflow before?
I would like to say that I'm saving about like 50% of my time.
So I'm gonna just go to Claude here. I'm gonna say, can you please turn this data into an interactive one-page dashboard I can share with the client. I mean, for this one, I don't need to optimize the prompt, but essentially here, like, just prompt Genie, boom, and I can just quickly optimize my prompt. And I can also pull my, prompts from my saved prompts library.
Yeah. So, yeah. And that's another thing that in your prompt you say share with the client. I didn't say anything about the output, who is it for? So it's more internal for me to like do a check. So I'm super curious to see.
So essentially, like what it's going to do now, it's going to go ahead and like write all this code to turn this into a dashboard.
Okay.
Which, like, I have so many dashboards that look actually really pretty. And like, it's so much more readable than just like big blocks of text. I mean, one of the big reasons I like using Claude for a lot of like, this brainstorming, research, marketing sort of tasks.
Let's see. It is working hard.
Yeah, we'll probably run into errors and I'll have to be like, hey, fix it now.
That's I mean, you still save so much time. We talked about the visualization piece, not for data, but for like strategy, how we would be forever to create a mind map or something else. Cause I wouldn't have the patience to like plug and play. So I'm really excited to see what this is going to spit out.
Like someone understands code really well and a photographic memory, they can probably start rendering the code in their head.
Yeah, you lost me. None of those are my skills.
Hey, now you do with AI, it's just like you have your prompt decoding stuff happen.
Yeah.
So for the most part, it can get you far unless you actually want to be an engineer. Okay, here we are. Oh, it's breaking up. Let me see if we can extend the screen. Yeah. See, like now we have like the whole report done like this way. See, I told you. I have to still we gotta check for like this numbers and like data if it's pulling it correctly. But of course you can make changes. But like, isn't it cool? And now you can you can publish it and you can share this link directly with your client or anyone who wants to see within the team. Okay,
let's get into like future telling a little bit. If clients are able to do this, having access to the tools that, if you know how to prompt or at this point, like know how to communicate or ask for what you want, where is going to be like the competitive advantage in the future for us as marketers or, people in the working world?
I love that you asked this question. I think it's like same as, like, have you heard the story? There's like one guy is like, like, I don't know, it's a kind of ship and he's broken and needs to like hammer something in. And it's like, I'm going to charge you like $3,000. I was like, this other guy is going to charge me like $30 for hammering it. It's just a hammer. And I was like, I'm not charging you to hammer it. I'm charging you for my knowledge where to hammer. That's, I feel like a good analogy perhaps, where like thinking what to do and like leveraging the data and like making the decision, like making the right move is probably where the power is going to be with an individual. Of course, because the tools can do everything for you. The execution part for the most part is taken care of, but what to execute is still a decision that needs to be made. And if you're putting resources, you're making the wrong bets, you're going to be like going off the wrong way. But that's like my little take here. Just like the ground goes up, but like just the ceiling is still there. So like, just like the difference in between here and like making a difference between you and where the purchase or the other company is going to be, it's just tighter. So the competition is more fierce.
So this is the growth marketer PPC stuff.
Cool.
Another thing that I was very curious about is pricing in general, right? So like I built one for contracts and scopes, which this is targeted for, kind of what I do and my bread and butter, but it also started because I was talking to an agency owner and he was telling me a story from like 20 years ago when he was working with a brand and they wanted to do a brand refresh. And so he was like, oh, okay, I'm going to quote you $5,000 for a brand refresh, right? And then the CMO at a time was like, if you do anything below 30, like, I don't want to talk to you. And then going along with the process, he had a really good relationship with the client. So they told him that the lowest bid from all the agencies that they got was $90,000. And the one they ended up going with was $120,000. So that example is so insane. And I always think about it from the pricing and contract and scope perspective. And this is just like another thing for me to, even though like, I'm not in sales, right? But like, I want to get an idea of, okay, how do I work? What does that mean? And then how do I communicate the value and just keep it technical? So anyways, here we can also just kind of check it out and say, try it in real life. Do you have a client in mind?
Like, could it be any industry?
Yeah, anything.
Sure. I mean, I have a business where we kind of struggle with this problem really right now. We're trying to like figure some stuff out. We do automation consulting and NurtureTech. So what do you want to know about this? So we have automation consulting project.
So let's say, how about we start with a goal?
Okay. I'm just going to make up a client here. Let's just say like Prompt Genie is a client, whatever. Prompt Genie is a client. So the goal is to build an AI agent to optimize the landing page and like segment and like create multiple segments for users. Is that too complex right now?
Well, it wouldn't if not the fact that this is edited for me and my bread and butter is performance.
Okay. Let's get into something else then. Let's try a different example.
We can still do Prompt Genie, but we can do it in a way of like what would be the marketing and branding potential contract and scope.
Okay, sure. Let's do brand refresh for Digital Samaritan then.
Brand refresh for what?
Digital Samaritan, like my content.
Oh, that's you.
Company. That'd be one word. Particular about the branding here.
Okay, well, good, as you should.
I think we should probably get rid of automation consulting project here. Okay, cool. It's a gold brand refresh for Digital Samaritan.
Okay, well, let's just hit it and see.
Is it going to identify what Digital Samaritan is? Or we're just going to assume it's like some DTC brand?
Well, here's what we have.
Okay, so...
It knows where we're going. It's like, can you give me more?
Cool. So let's do just bootstrap, 6 months. I mean, for the second question. Existing assets. We got a brand kit. I got a site. I got a logo. So basically all of them. Budget, comfort. Let's be cheap.
Before we move on, existing assets. So you already have a brand kit for where you are now. You would need, as a brand refresh, you would need a new thing for all of this.
Yeah, essentially. I think I'm happy with what I have. I mean, sometimes I conflict about it, but also don't want to spend money on it right now.
Fair.
So all the new brand and then budget, we're going to be cheap here. So we're going to say $10,000.
That is awfully specific. And also the fact that we just talked about the example.
Yes. Well, you know what? Let's just do $25,000 for the fun example here. It's not like I have to pay this, so why not?
Just like, no, this is a contract. You signed it.
Internal resources, content. Devs are busy with Prompt Genie. Another funny thing here, how you answer these questions, my answers are always like 1 dot this, 2 dot this, 3 dot this. And you copied the questions and you're answering it right there. That's interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I see. It's like, it's cool to learn.
I would love to see like people in the comments, like how they approach these questions or like little like antics we're seeing in terms of different way of using the same tools.
See, so look, this is also asking. It knows what the prompt is based on what I do.
Yeah.
And it's like, would you like this refresh or include like my core capacity, like core expertise, or should it stay purely focused on brand and visual assets?
Should I just say yes? Why not?
Include, please.
I'll pay more Monopoly money here. Okay, so it's generating the SOW for the entirety of it. And then do you like share this GPT with the client, or like do you just get client to fill out a form and you just put the information yourself?
I put in the information myself.
Okay.
But I did think about just like giving it to a client. But then the one thing that I was thinking about is it's kind of when you go to a doctor and you already Googled all your symptoms. You know what I mean?
To have cancer.
Yeah, and then the doctor's like, no, you're fine. And then it's like, no, but I'm dying. And then no, like your blood work is fine, you know? So like I was kind of skeptical about like, okay, you know, like, is it going to be helpful with conversations with clients, depending on where their head is at? Because, you know, like I feel like we have those conversations like you just said, like with the hammer, right? Like you can do it for $30 or you can do it for $30K. Like pick your poison, right? If not the consequences of your own actions. So anyways, this is what we have.
Okay. So you got objectives and KPIs, you got scope and delivery. Scroll down. Brand positioning, Figma stuff, paid strategy, CRM, email build flow, your responsibilities, client responsibilities in the timeline, investment. Okay. That's pretty cool. Have you thought of like just, you know, putting the same instructions from a GPT into like a, let's say Zapier automation where you have a form that the client fills out, and then from the form it goes into like the Zapier, which is going to call OpenAI with the instructions from custom GPTs, and then like create a Google Doc or, you know, Panda Doc or whatever with a template of this entire SOW.
Yeah, I was actually watching Zapier just had a webinar and they were talking about all those flows. So it's open in my tabs right now.
Very cool.
Who knows? Maybe I'll build that later today.
Nice. And can we get a peek behind the scenes, behind the curtains for this GPT you have here?
Yeah, for sure. So when we go, can we go there? Okay, it was just a little slow. Okay, so when we're looking at this, run every time, politely by firmly, collect.
Nice.
Missing 6 essentials. So identity and North Star, kind of positioning myself, right? Like what I do, what is my bread and butter, blah, blah, blah. And then I really like this so I can focus on closing deals and not paperwork. It's cute. Then we have scope builder, the modules, what I want to be portrayed. Then it's the effort calculator. And what I do have is the pricing engine. I know with my expertise, more or less what it would be. And then like how much time it would kind of take. So it has like some parameters into it that we know where the pricing would end up. Then we have the draft. So the SOV that we talked about, make sure that it's in my voice, reference benchmarks.
This probably took you a long time. Because I'll tell you, I was trying to do something similar for Tech for my business partner. She does this work.
Yeah.
Like the whole pricing engine and everything, that's incredible. I think she's gonna love this. Like I have to share this with her, like this part of the video. Like, hey, just watch this if you don't want to watch the whole episode. You need to see this. I love it.
Yeah.
And I see like your knowledge base. So you have like a couple contracts attached. That's where I also wanted to get at to see if you are doing that, or it's just more like, you know, like a more simple prompt, like just do a little SOW. Like this is very tailored, very personalized with so much of your experience and knowledge, and like those contract templates as a reference points. I love it.
Yeah, for sure. So added this too. We won't go into it because it's top secret, but
of course,
great idea.
How many iterations do you think you probably did to get to the version you have right now? Like 5, 10, 20, 25?
This one was actually pretty quick. So I think that I maybe adjusted the prompt about 3 times during the time that I was building it, and then I tested it. But I feel like because I'm getting better and better with like what the output is and like knowing more tips and tricks, what questions to ask, it kind of does the thinking itself, which is nice.
Okay. Do you always like test your stuff in the preview side, or you actually go like update the GPT and test like in chat?
I do both.
Okay. I don't know if like maybe like you have a different perspective here. Like when I try and preview stuff, I just don't like the testing. Even though the UI makes sense, but I just feel like the results, I don't really get it. And I have to always go in the chat and actually try it there.
Yeah. And another thing that I find annoying is that, for example, you know, when we go into here and let's say, ask me anything, Black Friday campaign.
So many ums. You are a second language speaker after all.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
No, you're good. My brain was just like, give me an idea right now. Black Friday campaign for an e-commerce. See, I will never spell this right. You know what? We're just going to say e-com.
Yeah, there we go. Oh, I do my ecom with one M.
Okay. See, now I'm going to...
Just say make it up. Make up random things.
So anyway, the reason why I don't like this is because if I would go and adjust the prompt here right now, preview would disappear.
Yeah. It's so annoying.
And I'm just like, okay, well, how do I go back to the conversation? You know, like it was important.
Nice. No, but like this GPT, like for anyone running any service business, they gotta get onto this. Like, I don't know if you're gonna be sharing your prompt or this GPT for people to, I mean, I don't think you're gonna share this with people to play with, but yeah, it'll be interesting. Or they're gonna have to like just look at the video really closely and trying to look at your patterns.
Copy and paste.
Like screenshot, bring it to chat to be like, hey, can you just take this?
Yeah, transcribe this into text.
Yes. Yeah, I would not ask you to share this one. Sorry, audience. You know, if you really want this prompt, unless she's willing to. I don't know if we can convince her right now, but we're gonna move on. Let's see. Actually, let's get an answer. Is it gonna be shared or no? No pressure.
No, I think it will be shared. Okay, here. Oh, we can do a test. The marketer and me. It can be shared to everyone who DMs me through LinkedIn.
Okay, there we have it. All right. This was not scripted part at all. Like we did not intend to have this conversation go this way. So I like it.
No, this is great.
Okay. What else do we have? What else do we have here in your GPT army?
Okay, so I have the English to Polish, which we can do in real life. And that's also kind of with the writing. The storytelling behind it is my parents don't speak the language. And so every time I would write, and because I've been in the US for 14 years, English is kind of my preferred language when it comes to reflection, expressing myself, brain things, whatever. So every time they would struggle with understanding what I'm trying to say or like what the article would be about. And they're so invested in like my success and, you know, me trying to create my dream life.
That's so nice.
Right? Isn't that sweet? They're awesome. So anyway, I was like, okay, we're going through the same challenges every time. So how about I just create this and then you can download or copy and then just drop it in here. And look, it can immediately switch to Polish. Yeah. So they understand how to use it.
Okay.
So here it literally says, thanks. I'm about to translate this. And, you know, like it goes into a lawn.
And like, you think it's accurate, like the translation and all?
Yeah, I tested it with them, and because there are some things that are like, but the cool thing, okay, I'm saying a lot of things because I'm really excited. So it is, but the cool thing is that when we go into it, I have my own kind of terminology. So, and that updates in real time whenever I plug in a new thing. So it knows translate to natural idiomatic Polish. So there are like different words that it remembers how to translate it exactly. So it would translate in the right way.
Okay. So it's like, I guess technically because you built this custom GPT, not relying on just regular translation.
Yeah.
So you have put in your things that you've been trying to fix or fine tune, if you will. You're gonna get that understanding.
Yeah, for the language. So here, like this is like in Polish, right? But like it literally says like if I'm saying clarity, it always means this. It doesn't. It won't ever mean X, Y, and Z because in Polish it just doesn't. You know.
I mean, worst case scenario, you and your parents gonna have like this growing misunderstanding over time because they're just understanding something completely different.
Yeah.
Thanks, AI. That's fine. Not a big deal.
Yeah. And then the last thing is like, I really like this, which is exceptions and escalations. So in case there's something legal or medical, go and like do your research on the internets for how to translate it. But if it's just gibberish that like might not really make sense, it will ask for a human rewrite, right?
Dude, that is so good. Like, that is so thoughtful. I don't know, like, you're just really good and deep thinker. Or like, I don't know, these use cases, like, this is pretty specific and I love it. Like, it's so good and practical.
Well, thanks. We try our best.
We try our best. Okay, I'm gonna say like this is not work related, but it might be my favorite GPT so far. Even though the SOW one was super impressive, it's like just like bigger use case. Growth marketer one, I mean, I don't do growth marketing, so I can't relate to that one as much, but it seems pretty cool for all the reporting and the data analysis work.
Yeah, it is. I really like that one too. Honestly, I like all of them, but the one that I shared with my friends seemed to be a hit, and it's the beauty rating tool.
Are we gonna like put our faces and it's gonna judge you? Is that what's happening here?
No, it can. It can. I did hear that some of my friends took photos of their hair and they put the photo in and it like, you know, gave you the whole hair care routine and products and whatever. But the story behind this is there's so many chemicals in all the different products that we're using, and I have trust issues. So, you know, there are a lot of brands who are putting different weird things in there that might not necessarily be good for humans. And so I was like, why wouldn't I just take photo of a bunch of products and have this spit out a score of whatever, not only based on US regulations, but like look at all of the different country regulations, because there are different ones, right? There are different studies, there are different whatever. I'm like, if we're looking holistically at humankind, what would it be? Okay. And so here we can either drop a photo or ask, you know, for a rating of something. Okay.
So, you know, in the parallel universe, you're just walking around Walmart with a camera on, just taking pictures of everyone. Maybe put a like orange vest on so you're like an employee. All the shampoos, just take a picture one at a time.
Yeah. But it does influence the decision making, right?
Yeah.
And I threw out a couple of different products after I saw some of the things, and I was like, absolutely not.
So this one you can probably share with everyone watching, right? Like this one you can put in the description. Okay. And maybe one day once if the GPTs are monetized in some affiliate or, you know, usage based, and this is going to be a big hit. I can see it.
Yeah, I'm excited. And and everyone likes it.
You should turn this into like a little mobile app too, you know, like just put a little payment plan, like, you know, use those AI coding tools.
Yeah.
This would be great.
So apparently there is an app that does it, but I don't think it has like the personalized memory side of it.
I see.
Maybe I shouldn't say this because I just gave away my idea, but...
You want us to edit this out?
Hey, you can bring people to the water, but you can't make them drink it. So, you know.
That's true. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So that's the one that I really like too.
Very cool. All right. These are GPTs we wanted to talk about today?
Yeah.
Cool. That was great. That was so much fun. Like we went very different directions and built different GPTs and lots of yapping in there. I had fun. I learned new things. It's cool to see how different people use ChatGPT interface differently. Just little nuances. I hope everyone watching like is also, you know, finding it useful. And as Basia said, if you want access to those custom prompt for the SOW, you gotta hit her up on LinkedIn. Also, you know, like all this content is free. Like we're sharing all these templates and prompts for free. All you gotta do is hit subscribe. So, you know, why not? So the content is free. Anyway, Basia, any parting thoughts? It was so lovely to have you. We met like 2 weeks ago and we're doing this podcast. It's so much fun.
Yeah, no, this is awesome. And also kudos to you for mentioning the podcast idea. And then like here we are talking and learning and sharing it with the world. So again, thank you for having me. This was awesome. And I really enjoyed nerding out with you on custom GPTs and everything else.
Hey, if you want to watch, like, you know, you want us to bring Basia on again, show us more GPTs, just leave a comment so we know you actually want this to happen.
Yes, like and subscribe.
Thanks, Basia.
Thanks.